Hi, it's Malcolm from Aquaspray. Today is something totally different, nothing to do with Kranzle or anything that we sell. On a recent video I had a leaking tap that looked like this, and I've been meaning to get it fixed for quite some time. I got a comment from a guy called Adam Davis who recommended a quarter turn ball valve from Screwfix. So I went straight out and I bought one, and this is it. This isn't a paid advert. I'm going to have a look at the pros and cons of this, and I'm going to fit it as well. On initial thoughts, it was very wide. It looks like it's going to protrude from the wall. We'll see a little bit later if that does. These valves, it's a chrome plated, I think it's brass. Company is Peglar. It's stamped England. I believe these are made in Yorkshire, down at Doncaster way, and it just has a simple quarter turn on, off, all written to it on the actual handle itself. It's quite a rubberized handle that they've put on it. It feels quite sturdy. It comes with a normal 1/2 inch hose coupling, which I won't have that on. I'm just going to be using this, which is a 3/4 thread BSP. That's probably 1/2 inch that goes into the actual tap holder. I'll probably find that out. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. So I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be using my normal quick release one. So looking at it, it looks very sturdy. It feels good. You can see the ball shutting in the valve, which is really nice. It doesn't have a non-return valve. Now normally on outside taps they have a double check valve, and certainly when you're getting a pressure washer that's connected to an outside tap, it's recommended to have a backflow preventer so that the water doesn't go back into your water system. This doesn't have it, but normal outside bib taps does. Now I'm pretty lucky enough to where I changed the tap around. The tap I think already has a backflow preventer, but I also put one on the exit where it came out of the wall. I put an isolating tap, because a little isolating tap, and then run the pipe through to where it is currently sat. All the links will be in the description for this. It's not a paid advertisement. You know, Screwfix haven't given me one of these. I just went out and bought it. It's my initial thoughts and review on it. The backflow preventer is the main issue. I would have liked to have seen one of those, but you know, you can always add one a little bit later on. So let's take the old one off and get this one fitted. So my pipe comes out the wall, it's all lagged, and this here is the isolating valve for that tap. So if I ever get a problem in the copper pipe that is running that way and under the decking to the tap outside, I can always sort it out. So this is my outside tap. It's been on there for quite some time now. It has the Karcher brass quick release couplings on it, which I won't be taking off. Put to one side. So these taps were all very waggly and it was leaking everywhere. Usually you can sort of fix these sometimes, but if water's leaking out and you're using a pressure washer, when the machine's starting to suck the water in, it's possible that you can get air into the system, and then it can cause cavitation in your machine and you'll get pressure loss and things like that. So if you've got a leak anywhere along the tap, the pipe, go into the machine, it's always better to try and sort the leaks out or change the tap if you need to. So the first thing we need to do is just unscrew it from this carrier. So it should be okay. It's a little bit tight onto my guttering. The idea now is to make sure all this is clean and dry. I do have PTFE tape, but I might use Loctite depending on where it tightens up to. I don't want the tap there, I want it dead straight. So with this one here, you can see the actual valve inside. This is a double check valve. So you'll have a valve here and a valve there to prevent any flow going back into the tap. The new one doesn't have it, so it's luckily I've got one a little bit further on as it comes out of the house. So we'll dry this up and clean it up, and then we'll fit the next one in there. So inside there, let's make it all nice and clean, and just using some kitchen roll to absorb any of the water. It doesn't really matter if you're using PTFE, but if you're using Loctite, it needs to be dry before you start this. So I'm going to be using PTFE. This is a One Wrap PTFE, so you don't need to keep going round and round and round it. I'll just do one full circle and a little bit, and then it should seal. So if you always have the item in your left hand and the PTFE in your right hand if you're right-handed, and it coming off the bottom, so don't have it turned around where it's coming off the top. You need it coming off the bottom. I'm going to show you this because not a lot of people know how to do it. So hold it in place, pull it tight, and just wrap it round so you get another quarter of a turn on it. Hold on to it and just pull it, and then you want to just smooth it off, and that's it. You just need to screw it back on now. If you put too much PTFE on it, you have a risk of breaking this brass where it's trying to prise it out. So we'll tighten it up by hand as much as we can, and just probably need to give it a nip. See, it feels a little bit loose. I'm going to see if it leaks first. Oh, that's a problem. Well then, so that means I'm going to have it up. Well, I might annoy me a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh no indeed. So what I'm planning on doing is just putting a bend in that up so that it'll miss, but it'll be dead vertical. It should be easy enough to do. Also, it seems a little bit loose on that PTFE. Although it's not leaking, it's probably better if I Loctite it. But let's get it right first before I put Loctite on it. So what we can do is, let's just unscrew the handle. And just try and take that off. I wonder if I could actually put it that way. See, that wouldn't work either because it'll hit the wall. So I'm gonna have to, what I might do is just bend it up so that it misses completely. So my plan is to put it in the vise here, and then I'm going to try and bend that so it's pretty much 90 degrees up, just past the Peglar logo, which will just miss my guttering. But I want to try and do it in a way where it's not going to damage it too much. So I don't know whether it'll snap. If it does, I will have to get another one. Just moving slightly. Clamp that a little bit tighter. So next to no damage on it, I've got a vertical handle which should now miss my guttering. Let's try it. So if I put that dead vertical straight up there now, I should be able to just put that on. And It's looking pretty much perfect for the job now. Apart from the fact I can't get the nut on. There we go. So now I know it all works. The tap is still pretty loose, so I'm frightened of that going to be, in fact it started to leak now anyway. I am going to Loctite that in. I'm going to use the strong stuff, 270. Oh!
Yeah, what the hell?
This is the green stuff. When this goes off, it isn't coming off. So I need to isolate the water again, release any pressure that might have been in there, and unscrew the tap. Need to get rid of all this water, get rid of all the PTFE tape, completely dry this off. If it's damp or if it's wet for any reason, the Loctite is not going to cure properly. Now that's done, you don't need to put a lot of this on, just a small amount really. It's probably too much, but let's get it started. With Loctite, so it's better if you go to exactly where it should be, just take it off a few threads and then put it back to exactly where you want it, and then just leave it until it cures. There it is to get it, because I know that's pretty much vertical, that getting this gap perfect. And just wipe off a little bit of the excess Loctite that's dripping out, as long as I don't move it. And then we'll just wait for that to cure. So the moment of truth, let's turn the water on and have a look. Now I'm back, there's no drips, the tap is completely solid, and to see if the water works, perfect. Job's good. So it's all fitted, everything works perfectly, it's dead straight, I'm really happy with it. For $9.99 a tenner, is it worth it? Probably yes. Certainly gone are the days of having taps like this now where you have to continuously open it and close it. Just a straightforward lever, open and shut. It's probably the way forward. The only thing I don't like is that it doesn't have the double check non-return valve. I would check your local water authority to whether it should have one or if it needs one. Certainly if you're using a pressure washer, and depending on what make and model as well. The tap itself, it feels good. The valve is good. It took quite a bit of bending, to be fair, so it's made of good quality gear. It feels nice with the rubber coat on it. I'd probably recommend it. So initially when I looked at this, I thought it was going to be off the wall quite a bit because it seemed to be a lot larger. But putting it side by side to the tap, there is literally no difference. So it's not stuck out, so it's not going to get knocked or anything. It is such a nice mechanism. You don't want to just leave it open because it would be dripping. So you've got to make sure that it's stopped dead. I do recommend it if you've got one of these. If you are going to be using a pressure washer, I would also recommend like a double check valve, or check your local water authority to see whether you would need one or not. This one obviously doesn't, but I do have one fitted where it comes out of the house. The links, everything will be in the description below. Give me a like if it's helped you. If you want to see any more of this type of video, give me a comment. I use some really strong Loctite, the 270. So now I know that works, and it'll miss my guttering. I will Loctite it. It's still a little bit loose. I'm going to use the strong stuff, so Loctite 720. This is green stuff. Once this goes off, it's probably not going to...
You said 720.
Again? Did I?
Are you dyslexic?
No, dyscalculus, Kelsey. It's not funny.